to the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So all around town radio show. That's where I go for the latest band info. So all around town radio show for the music that comforts my soul. It's the all around town radio show. The all around town radio.
All right. Welcome, everybody. How you doing out there today? Y'all doing all right? Man, I got a little weird sound in the mic today. How you doing? Everybody okay? I hope. It's good to have you. Sweet Sister Mercy right here.
It's the weekend review. It's a Bible coming for you. We're speaking with the fans. Sometimes they don't show well. Whatever, man. We're coming who's playing out. Off the open jam with the who's who of talent. Come Friday night. Ready to raise some hell.
All right. We are with you here on a Monday. It is the weekend update. How's everybody today? You guys doing all right out there, I hope? It's Monday, February 12th. February 12th, 2024. How y'all doing? Let's see who's checking in here with us today on the live stream, as they call it, or broadcast, like I like to call it because I'm old school. Hi, Glenn. What a weekend of music it was. It was a great weekend out there, as everybody knows, in the entire tri-state. It was a huge weekend of music. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for dropping by. Carrie, I thought I'd see you Saturday. I miss seeing you. Roger, how are you? What's going on, Roger? You doing all right? It was great to meet you as well this weekend. I'm trying to fix a couple of mic audio issues here. If it sounds garbly, guys, let me know. I'm hearing it in my ears here just a little bit. Gina McCann in the house, the lovely voice like butter and cayenne pepper. Gina McCann, who I got to see sing on Saturday. We're going to talk about that one in the show today as we recap our weekend in review. And welcome, guys, to All Around Town Radio, your number one source for live local music news, bands, venues, and more in your home for everything music. Don't forget to share the show, support local music and the venues that bring it to you, everybody. We appreciate that very much. Kenny Patterson in the house. Going to talk about him, too, in a minute. What an incredible weekend of music. Yes. Angela Combs, how are you? Thank you for dropping by today. Johnny Fink in the house. What's going on, Johnny? Rick Kern is here. How you doing, Rick? Thank you for being with us. Jimmy Kilroy, he's back in Cleveland. Oh, I hate to hear that. Jim, you have to go to a lot of funerals up there, buddy. I hate to hear it. Good to have you on the show, though. And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the big Monday show where we feature what we got to see over the weekend. And if you got to see some live local music, drop it in the comments. If you haven't already put it on our page, we'd love to hear from you. Want to thank you all for supporting last Thursday's show. It's called Who's Playing Out. We do it every week, where we promote over 60 venues each week. I'm gonna throw out a little bit of a disclaimer here. 60 venues. So stop hating on us, people. All right. I don't just promote the Bell and the Bear. That's all I got to say. All right. I'm going to keep rolling now. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Yes. Isn't it great? What's going on? Bob Klein in the house. Wow. Music Crush Monday in the house. Hello. How are you? Good to have you with us. Thanks for dropping by today. Guys, if you're out there, make a comment. Say hi. I'm trying to get the old iPad-y here to pop up so I can see you on the Book of Face as well. I'm seeing you come up on my screen. I want to thank you for last Thursday's show. Your shares got it up to 3.5 thousand views. We appreciate that very much. A little down from the week before, but it happens. You know, it goes up and down. It's variable, as they say. But we are trying to see what we got here. Are you guys seeing us okay, or anybody seeing a black screen? I'm seeing a black screen. I hope not, but we'll check it out here. Couple quick things to fix, guys. Give me just a second today as I get into what we're talking about. Yeah, some weird stuff going on in the world. hi there, Dale Robinson. Dale Woo in the house. It's always good to see you, Dale Woo. Got to see him over the weekend as well. Diana Halligan, she says she can see us. Yes. And thank you, Kenny. I've got a face for radio, but at least you can see me. Dale Wooing back there. He's back here somewhere. Is he back here somewhere? Yeah, Dale's back here in the back. His Woo sticker. You find those everywhere, don't you, Kenny Patterson? You do. Hi, Corona. Thank you. All right. Well, we're on here, and I'm looking at some fun stuff. I want to talk though about the shares again. Thanks for sharing, guys. That makes us go over the top on the numbers each week. Thank you. That's all because of you. It is. And don't forget to follow us on the socials: Twitter, X, whatever it's called, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're on TikTok, but we don't talk or tick. So I look at people on there. What's going on, Chris Will? How are you? Thanks for being here, buddy. Mojo Rising in the house. Hi, Jojo. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Tina Longreed. Thank you for being here. So, our weekly programming's been real good, guys. Thursday's what we call Who's Playing Out. Wednesday with the band. Last week, we had the Cincinnati Winter Blues Experience on. This week, I have Tim Butterfield and Todd Buck going to talk production. They're going to join me on Wednesday's show. And we're going to chat it up about production at noon on Wednesday. And then Tuesday, it's Hot Topic Tuesday with my host, Karis. And we'll be doing that and bringing that to you as well. And please, if you have something about the local music business that you want to have addressed on our Hot Topic Tuesday show, send it to us via direct messenger. And we'll get it on there. We'll bring it up, talk about it, and see what people think. Because it's all about the people's comments. It is. And we can feature that on the show anytime. Hello, Ray Renee. How are you? Hello, Steve Short. Zach Taylor, thank you for being here. And there's a shameless plug for Form of Aggression. I'll leave that up for just a minute. Chris, glad to hear you're doing well. And Bill, how are you? Wow, Bill, good to see you Saturday, even though we didn't get to talk much. It was good to see you, Bill. And hello, Joe Hildebrandt. How are you? Thanks for being with us today. Good to have you here. So we're talking about this week in review or weekend in review, and I've got a couple events I want to talk about. And one being last Thursday, if I can hit that up here in the Dayton area. We went to the Dublin Pub and participated in an event there that was a fundraiser. We've talked about it on the show for the last few weeks. If you're familiar with Nick Mitchell, he plays a lot of solo gigs, but he also had a band called the Skeptical Cats and such. Nick Mitchell had his wife, unfortunately, had a brain hemorrhage, and the brain, she was in ICU for 40 days. And this wonderful thing happened on Thursday night to help support them. Now, there's a GoFundMe out there for him that's doing very well, and people are really supporting. But I want to say that what happened Thursday was just amazing at the Dublin Pub, how people came together for this. The event raised over $12,000 in one evening. Now, from 6 to 10 o'clock, that's damn good for an event. And had raffles, auction, all kinds of stuff going on there. All of Nick's friends and musicians came together. It proves the music community, music brings love and harmony, man. And it does. And that's what happened that night at the Dublin Pub. People like Acoustic Junior, Gina Cullen, Mark Bondurant, Well Strung, the band was there. Sparkita played. The Hip Shakin' Daddies played. And then one that wowed me was the Devil Wind Band. Devil Wind Brewing out in Xenia has a house band that just killed it. And some great players in that, including Gary King, who I had the opportunity to mix a record with years ago at Rephrase Studios and all kinds of stuff. Really cool bunch of people. The Night Owl Band, Sam King, Rich Reuter, Greg Bell, a whole lot of folks that come up. And it does. And Stephanie says music brings love. Yes, it does. Absolutely. And this event was just spectacular. And I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Jim Bernica, who was on the show a couple Wednesdays ago promoting this event, or Friday or so. It all runs together. But Jim did a great job putting the raffles together. And then they had a whole team that threw the auction together as well. And the online auction was really cool. You could bid if you weren't there. You could bid if you were there, all on a phone and QR codes and such. And some really neat stuff went on for that. And Dublin Pub is a great host always. They're gearing up for their big St. Paddy's event there, which is one of the biggest in the entire region. And I want to give a shout out to Steve, the owner of Dublin Pub, for all the things he does, and especially because Nick was one of those first players he ever had played the Dublin Pub. And he's loyal to Nick, and it showed that night. They did a lot of great things. $12,000 plus brought to the table that night. So congratulations to everybody that worked hard on that event and put it together in Dayton, Ohio for Nick Mitchell. And Pam's got a long way to go. She does. She was in ICU, like I said, for 40 days. She's back in the hospital currently. She was in rehab unit for a while, step down unit. But yeah, it's just an uphill battle for them. And Nick, being a full-time musician, has lost his entire income because he's by her side every day. So that's it for that one. Stephanie says, love Dub Pub. Absolutely. They're great people and great people to work for there. Steve, it was great to finally meet you at the Blues Experience as well. And we're going to talk about that one here in just a moment. So thank you again, all the musicians and folks who came together. It was great to see Gina Cullen play. Gina, I've watched Gina she started on just doing videos and online and playing. And she took a lot of crap for a while from people. You know, a lot of people on the internet like to hide behind a keyboard. And they'd give her crap for being on there and saying she was a terrible this or a terrible singer or player or whatever. And Gina has just held her head high and persevered, and she's getting booked now. And she did a great set there at the Dublin Pub, and the crowd loved her songs. And she kind of chopped the songs down to little snippets of different songs and really did a cool thing. So some great bands played that night. The one band that was spectacular, doing some great Neil Young and stuff like that, was Well Strung, which is a great band name. And then Sparkita as well. Just some really good. And the Devil Wind band blew the stage up there. So fun stuff and wonderful evening at the Dublin Pub. Hello, Ed Sawicki. Yes, it was well done. And you know, Nick and Pam are great people. If you know them, Nick is real involved. And anytime with the firefighters, especially, I know that anytime Nick was ever called and says, we need you to do this or this fundraiser or whatever, will you play it? He'd be there and he'd do it. And he's just one of those people. So it's time to give back to him and Pam. And that's what they're doing. There's a GoFundMe out there if you want to look it up too. Nick and Pam Mitchell. It's listed on, I think you can search it and find it on Facebook and give to that. It's upwards of almost $50,000. But I can tell you that this current 40-day stay in the ICU, you don't even want to think about what that's going to cost. It's going to be close to $1 million before it's over with. So, you know, long road for both of them. It is. Hi, David Thornton. Thank you for joining me today. Good to see your smiling face here. Look forward to working you. I had a little meeting with Springfest the other day. I know you're on the bill there. We're going to have some fun with that one in the Berg. Heck, Karis, how are you? Karis from the Bell and the Bear has joined the party. Thank you, Karis, for being here today. All right, I want to get into Saturday. Saturday was a big deal. When I say big deal, I mean really big deal. Cincinnati had an event, and it was actually in Mason, but it's called the Cincinnati Winter Blues Experience. And we had them on the show, last week on Wednesday. We had Ed here, Ed Sawicki, and Peter, and several of the artists that were going to play, which was really fun to have on there. And we had a lot of fun with that interview. But let me tell you, I'm just going to say, hats off to Peter of Post Meridian Production and the raffle guitar. Glenn, funny you brought that up because I want to say, let me get a couple comments here on it, and then I'm going to show you something. Saturday night was an absolute treat. Anyone that went, Dale, was wooed. They were wooed by that night, weren't they? And Hollywood said Saturday was on fire. And yes, Johnny, I was going to get to that. Johnny just upstaged me, but I'll put that in the comments. That was on my list. Biggest crowd ever at the event, over 1,250 people in attendance. And let me tell you, spectacular night. And take a little peek here. If I can find the photo I want to put up here. Take a little peek here. There's Peter with the guitar winner. That was one of the giveaways for the evening and the raffle. And what a beautiful hand custom painted guitar. And that was just one of the giveaways. Peter runs Post Meridian Productions. And the Cincinnati Winter Blues Experience was Saturday night, and I want to talk about it a whole lot here if we can. So if you saw it, if you were there, make some comments. If you weren't, listen closely on why you want to be there next year for sure, because it was amazing. Kimberly, how are you? Fantastic event as well. Mason says, incredible night. It was good to see you, Kimberly. Mason, always good to see you. I have to retract my statement now, though. I used to say Mason was the future of live music. He's grown up because there was a kid there we're going to talk about that is now the future of live music, who was the opener, and we'll chat about that as well. What do we got? And Jim says, so well done and organized. Yeah, it was great. Thank you for the comments, guys. Keep them coming, and I'll pop them in there. That guitar was stunning. Gina said it was. And yeah, Kara said it was one of the greatest nights of music in Cincinnati I've seen. And just the amount of talent and the amount of people that were there. And everybody there was a music lover. There was nobody there who was even a mediocre, maybe I'm here because somebody drugged me here type of event. No, it was full of music lovers and just an absolute great show. And I'm going to get to your comments in a minute, guys. And Hollywood said the guy that won the guitar is from Hamilton. There we go. Got to get that Hamilton plug in, don't you, Mayor of Hamilton there, Hollywood? You do. And Mason said Danny was too good. Yeah, we'll talk about Danny in just a minute. What an incredible show they put on. And yes, Gina's thanking Peter as well. And Post Meridian. Gina, we're going to talk about you. Let me talk about it instead of saying we're gonna. Let's do it. So to put together an event like this, there are three main ingredients. And as Johnny said in his comment, it was the biggest and best show yet to date. 5th anniversary of this event in Cincinnati. You need three main ingredients to make this happen. And then there's a fourth that the add in that really ices the cake. But first and foremost, you need the right venue. And the Manor House provided that and more. It's a classy yet relaxed venue. The staff is all smiles and very attentive to the crowd. In fact, there was a medical emergency, which they handled swiftly and efficiently of one of the attendees. And let me tell you, including, got to give hats off. They hire a Mason police officer to work their events there. Mason Police was there. And he jumped on it right away. And the Mason Fire Department and EMS did a fantastic job of taking care of a gentleman in distress. So really a wonderful environment to have an event like this in. So you've got the venue down. I mean, it's a beautiful place. 2 ballrooms with the way it's set up with the food area in between and all that, and the restrooms where they're looking at everything. It's just a perfect place. And the green room was a nice room as well. So really a perfect place to have an event like this. And it's really the make or breaker when you have to do an event like of this size is to have the right location, plenty of parking. That helped as well because there was a shit ton of people there. It was packed and really a great start to the evening. Even at the beginning of the show, when the show opened at 5, it was full. And, secondly, the second ingredient when you're hosting a show like this is you have to have some lofty production goals. When you're changing out 11 bands and back and forth and everything else, it's a big job for production. And I have to say that Kenny Patterson and his production team set the bar extremely high for this event. Absolute perfect sound and lighting. The stage changeover timeline was spot on and aggressive. I mean, they were on it and doing their job. And, what people forget about the show, when they show up at 5 and want to have fun and see music and it's over at 11:30 and everybody goes home, these guys are there at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then when it's done, they've got 3 hours of teardown to do. They're the hardest working people in show business and get the least amount of recognition most of the time. So I'm going to recognize them at length today. Because not only was the sound perfect, the lighting perfect, it helped the photographers. I mean, the guys there, and I had a chance to talk to Kenny and Mongo for a while, and they're just good people, and they do a great job. They're fun to work with, and you could just tell the passion they have for the job they do, and it was remarkable. And, every once in a while, you get a little hiccup in the sound anytime you're doing a live event like that, or a setup hiccup or something, or a cable goes bad and all. This was seamless. I mean, everything just went perfect. So hats off to Kenny Patterson and his production team and everybody else that was there doing that. 2 ballrooms they had to worry about, sound and lighting in and getting the people on time and making sure it was all taken care of. A great job by them all. I got to get to some comments, and then I'll get to some more comments that I have on the event. And let's see, Gina wanted to thank Peter. I got that one. And yeah, Mason is old now, Johnny. He is. He's graduated. And Danny Garwood, we're getting talked about. We're going to talk about Danny here when I get into the list of who played. Good evening, Randy. Thank you for being here. Cricket, thank you so much. Good to see you. Hi, Jill. How are you? And Dale said, yeah, Tasty Johnson. That's right. We were supposed to say that, weren't we? Hey, Tasty, thanks for watching today. That's what they call him. And Jamilton, yes, Manor House always does a good job. Manor House is a cool venue. And Roger says, what a weekend. And yeah, and we'll get into the photographers in a minute, but we'll go ahead and say it now since you popped that comment in there. Ed Sawicki and Diana Halligan. I am going to say, though, got a little pet peeve you might hear talked about on one of our shows. As I was waiting to hand my ticket and get in, I'll bet I couldn't count on both hands the amount of people that came in with cameras and said they were the official photographer for the event. I'm just going to say that out loud. It's kind of interesting. I mean, more the merrier on the pictures. Post them, do whatever. It promotes the event, but you know what I'm saying. Pay the ticket price, people. Do it. All right. So, second ingredient I said was certainly production. It was excellent. Third ingredient, you got to add a killer lineup. And boy, did they have a killer lineup for this event. Peter and anybody else that was involved in that, Ed, I don't know if you had a hand in it, picking any of these people that were in the lineup, but I'm going to say, wow. Danny Garwood and company, a kid out of Nashville that is 14. I think his bass player was 15, drummer 16. From Cincinnati, or one was from Ohio, one was from Kentucky. These kids opened the show, and this kid played like he was Stevie Ray Vaughan up there, man. He was great, and the band was great, and everybody in the room was like wowed by him because he's just a little dude. And I mean, if he hadn't told me he was 14, I'd bet he was 12. And what a killer voice and excellent guitar skills. I mean, just amazing. And what's funny is Ed and Peter and people like them who travel around in the blues community, they travel and pick bands out in their head and they say, that's a good one. That'd be a good fit, or that'd be a nice fit for our show. And they bring these people to Cincinnati. And this little Danny Garwood, man, he's going places. I met his dad. We're going to get him on the show one day. They're going to come on and talk about their music and, their years of experience at how many years that is. But really, really some cool stuff. And I'm trying to get to all your comments, guys, if I can. I know you're making them. I'll try to get them on the screen. And Gina's giving tout to the sound crew as well. And lots of good things. And Ed says Kenny Patterson Productions did amazing work. They did. Really cool. And thanks, Kenny, for dropping the other names of the guys that worked the other room, because I didn't have a chance to even meet them. They were busy every time I was back there, but they did a killer job as well. So I'll leave that up on the screen there for just a minute if we can. So Danny Garwood and company opened the show. Then we had, Jamie Carr Band in the other ballroom. These ballrooms, what was cool is having two stages and you could bounce back and forth. And I got a chance to see every act play, at least for a few minutes. And some I stayed a little longer for, obviously. They're my favorites and that. But the Jamie Carr Band in the Georgian Ballroom, as it's called, huge crowd, killing it in there. Great job of playing as well. And then Leroy Ellington and the Sacred Hearts. It was good to see Leroy on the stage. I hadn't seen him in ages. He was tearing it up there with his band, put together a great band, by the way, that was part of that. And then in the Georgian room, not the Manor room as it's known, the interns played a Hendrix tribute. And Peter, genius on that move. Because Hendrix is really a blues player. We all know that. I mean, and Jimi Hendrix is timeless. And if you were going to have anybody in Cincinnati play a Hendrix tribute, it'd be Dave Taylor and the interns. Those guys are great. Gino putting on a great show up there as well. I mean, just a killer bunch of guys that play music. And Dave Taylor with his antics, he does leaps on stage that they'd have to call 911 for me if I did one of those. I guarantee it. And Dave Taylor is just a performer and perfect perfect pick for this kind of event. And really, the crowd was into it heavy. And Bill says he's got 5 videos of Danny Garwood on his YouTube channel. Thank you, Bill. If you don't follow Bill, follow him. His name's there. It's what his name is on YouTube. And good stuff. Let me get to a couple more comments before I finish up the comments I have on this event today. And yes, Dave was a great choice for the Hendrix. Wasn't he, though, Mason? I mean, really, nobody else could play that like Dave does. And Dave Taylor is fantastic. And they did rock the room. They brought it, and it was so good. And the interns always do. And Ed says we got experienced. Yes, literally. So with that said, after the interns, I had to cut out a little early on them, maybe just a few minutes early to catch Leroy's set and all that, and then hopped into the other room there to catch the folks from Tempted Souls band for a few minutes. And I'd seen them at a blues experience before several years back, but Tempted Souls band, they were doing their thing. They were playing, they were grooving. What's neat about this crowd is they're such music lovers. It doesn't matter really what you play. It just matters that you're giving them the soulful music that they want. And Tempted Souls was doing that. It was again, every act. I have nothing negative to say about any of them at all. Everything was just perfect. In fact, it was one hell of a lineup that built to a fever pitch. It did. And then our friends from CFG and the family, after Tempted Souls, got a chance to catch them. And gosh, Greg, Casey, Mason, Peter, you guys rock it out. You're amazing on stage. The crowd loved you. I heard more comments of people that had heard about you because you went to Memphis. And, you may not have brought home the gold trophy from Memphis, but let me tell you brought home the gold to Cincinnati because everybody there was wanting to see you guys play. And when you were done, were commenting about how good you were. They'll be at your next show, guaranteed. A lot of people will. And, CFG and the family, good on and off the stage. And I got to say something too about Casey. He was fanboying, man. He was fanboying by the stage after their set. He was watching people play and enjoying himself and having just a blast. He was back in the green room, rubbing elbows with all the Cincinnati Blues elite like Scotty Bradford, Johnny Fink, and Noah Witherspoon, and those kind of people, and having just a great time. So, CFG and the family, we've talked about them before. Just an amazing bunch of guys and great music. And Casey's voice it's just right. It's raspy. It's bluesy. It's fun. And they're huge, going to be a huge draw always in the Cincinnati region, and certainly their home base of Hamilton, which they had a show the night before and absolutely killed it. And Dale Robinson says Tempted Souls queen size bed was amazing. Thank you. And Gina says, love those dudes. So good. Yeah, there wasn't any injuries, I don't think, from Dave Taylor, was there? I don't think. Yeah. And no, Mason, you guys, you were all smiles, my friend. And it's great to see you handle all that like you guys do with dignity and humbleness and all the things, because, going to Memphis and placing as high as you did, you're among the elite now in that blues community. And don't ever forget that, because you guys are the bomb for real. Thank you, Diana, for that comment. Rick Henderson, thanks for being here. Glad to have you with us. So let me get to the rest of these bands here. We had, besides CFG and the family, then a collaboration took place on stage. Well, let me go to Gina and Johnny. They were over in the Georgian Ballroom, and I'm just going to say the connection between Gina and Johnny that night is the best I've ever seen, and I think they're fantastic to begin with. But this connection they had was like, it was just energetic and magical, and the whole band just brought it. And Gina, you were on fire vocally. You were just, it was crazy. And I was sitting with two ladies later on in the evening, and Glenn actually sitting at the same table and all that. And these ladies were talking. They voted Gina the best voice of the night, and they hadn't heard Danielle Nicole yet. And Gina, I came by and I introduced Gina to him. I said, "Hey, meet these ladies. They think you're the best voice of the night." And of course, in Gina's humble, passionate way of just being extremely I don't even know, just gracious. Talked to him for a while and told him that you haven't heard Danielle Nicole yet. Well, after Danielle played, no offense to Danielle, they still thought that Gina brought it. And she did. She brought the house down, and they loved her. And Gina's just, we were joking about my tagline with her with the voice like butter and cayenne pepper. And the one girl said, "You right." She said, "You right." And that was funny. I loved it. But we had a blast talking to them. And it's great to see people's reaction to people they've never seen play before. And Gina and Johnny brought the house down over there. And, you know, Johnny, when he gets on stage, his stage presence is amazing as well. He just kills it. And the whole band, they're just a fantastic band. That's all I can say. And I'm rambling about things, but it's just wild. And Gina, I was just going to say that. Thank you for saying that. The crowd fed them. They did. The more the crowd got into it, the more energy they exuded off stage. And like I said, good stuff. Good stuff. Yes. And what's Ed got to say? So much energy. It was. So Gina and Johnny band, I've talked about them a lot. We've had them on the show. You know, they're just a staple in the community and amazing players. And you're going to see a lot more from them as well. And then this collaboration took place. Noah Witherspoon, Scotty Bratcher, and the Just Strange Brother Horns. Goodness. So you get to see Noah and his great guitar skills up there to begin with. And then he looks across the stage and throws it over to Scotty Bratcher, who slays it as well. And then the horn section jumps in and just blows the roof off the room. And, you know, where did this come from? I mean, these collaborations that happen at these events, it's like one of a kind and one chance in life to see this magic going on stage. Crazy good. Fantastic stuff. Two of the best between Noah and Scotty in the region, and two good guys too. Working the crowd afterwards, chatting it up with everybody. Just they know where their bread's buttered, man, with their audience, and they do, and they're good people and fun stuff. Let me see. I get to a couple more comments here, and then we're going to get out of here after I talk about a couple more things. Sharon, thank you for being here. Roger, like the B-52 song. There you go. And the DeRosa on keys and Brian on drums. Yeah. Just amazing stuff. And Ed says Gina and Johnny touched his heart more than any other band. Yeah, they do. They do things to me too. And I mean, they get into some grooves that they'll bring tears to your eye, and then they'll bring you right back up and make you have the energy of like you climb a mountain. And cool. And Mason said they made us want to go home and practice. I love it, Mason. Thank you for that comment. Boy, that was a skill lesson up there. It was that you got schooled by Noah and Scotty that night, by everybody in the room. And then in the other ballroom, Nick Schneblin, who is the brother of Danielle Nicole, who played, and I only got a chance to see a little snippet of his because there was something going on in the other room that happened, but we were chatting it up over there, and the Nick Schneblin band was good. Excellent. You know, and they kind of headlined the other room and closed out the other room till 10:15. But in the meantime, the Kelly Baker band, who Kelly was on the show with me last Wednesday with Ed and Peter and Danielle Nicole. And I wanted to see Kelly because she had such a great personality when we were talking, getting ready for the show and all that. Well, she brought that personality to the stage. She did. And she threw a few surprises in there, one being her friend Melissa, who got up and sang with her, who apparently has finished very well in the International Blues Challenge as well. And Melissa, and they did a little tune called Get By With a Little Help from My Friends that absolutely was the mic dropper of the night. I'm telling you, it was incredible what they did. And just insane connection between the two of them as well. And really good. And what's let me see what Gina had to say here. First time hearing them. Enjoy. And Kelly Baker, what a flamboyant character on stage with her costuming and all the things she did. And yeah, and Diana said she showed great flexibility. Yeah. If I'd have been in that position playing guitar, you'd have had to bring the crane in to lift me up. It's wild. Yes. was wild. But good stuff happening there. Kelly Baker Band put on a hell of a set. And certainly don't want to miss. And gosh, hold on. Somebody throw his name in there. He's the guitar player, and he's famous for, he's a blind guitar player, harmonica player that played with Kelly, and was just off the hook too. And yeah, and Kenny said the guitarist for Kelly Baker Band knocked my socks off. Ed'll know his name right off the top of his head. I didn't write it down, but yes, he was phenomenal. And I love the way he introduced Kelly, and he did. I mean, he was a cool cat on stage. And Kelly Baker Band, I loved him. I thought they brought, yes, thank you, Ed. How do you say that? Is it no? I always get it wrong. I've seen him play before, and I don't know how you say it, but maybe somebody does. NOE, yeah. But crazy good. So winding out the night was Danielle Nicole. They got started a little bit late. The timeline got off, had a little hiccup with an emergency in the room, like we said earlier, and some things like that slowed some things down. But they got up there and finished out the night, and nobody left. I mean, the crowd, I don't even want to say it was an older crowd, but it was a crowd of folks who have enjoyed music for years. I'll just put it that way. And they stayed and hung in there with Danielle Nicole, and she didn't disappoint. Boy, she's got a style. They call it heavy blues, and it is that. And she kind of gets it done. And the band, talented as hell, and just a good bunch of people. So hats off to Peter for putting together this wonderful thing. Danielle Nicole, thank you for being on our show last Wednesday, and Kelly Baker as well. I'm going to tell a little story on Kelly Baker. Right before we went live last Wednesday, I was telling them all, I said, your mic will be hot while we go into the theme song and all that. So just don't say anything till we introduce you or whatever. And her GPS started talking. And then I hear her in the back said, shit, like that, and tried to get it turned off. It was kind of funny. And we all came on laughing because it was a good humor thing right before, to break the ice before we got started. But we had Danielle Nicole, Kelly Baker on, and it was just so much fun talking to them. It was great to meet them. Glenn got his CD signed, he said, by Danielle Nicole, I hope. And yeah. And Dale, nobody's calling you. How old are you, Dale? I bet you're younger than me, Dale. I bet you are. I'm just going to say that. And thank you for that, Kara. Pass that on to him. Send him a message. Send that message. Well, Dale, you might not be older than me then, but you're close. We're close. So thank you. Killer bands, guys. Like I said, certainly a strong number of music lovers, excitement and passion in the house, the Manor House. And the crowd from the opening act till the end was just full house and kept growing. So many music lovers, sum it up into one word on that event. Wow. Production wow. Venue wow. Music wow. People there. Wow. Music lovers. I'd love to be surrounded by people who love music, because music brings love to your soul. It does. And real quick, we got to get out of here. I'm running very late, but real fast, I'm just going to give you my take on the Super Bowl. Entertainment. Post Malone, America the Beautiful. Not a bad job. No, I thought he did all right. Reba, the national anthem. If you like a country version of it, Reba did a great job. She didn't try to turn it into her own or any of that. She did what she's supposed to do, sang the national anthem proudly. And everybody in attendance should have been proud to stand to the flag on that one. And then at halftime, I'm going to give Usher 100% props for actually singing and dancing his ass off. I'm going to say that. There are people who are saying, this is boring, whatever. I'm just going to say, you could tell it was live. He smacked the mic 3 or 4 times and that kind of thing. And there was a lot of, sure there's track stuff going on and all that, but he was singing. And I will give the sound a D+. Sound was horrible, at least on my TV. And I liked how he had other artists join him and all that. And as for Taylor Swift, quit being a hater, people. She could buy all of us. And certainly her relationship with Travis has made the NFL a bunch of money. So don't dog on Taylor. She's worked hard to get where she is. She works hard every day, and don't be jealous. And as for Travis Kelce, There's a difference between passion for the game and just plain shitty behavior, though. And what we saw him do to his coach was shitty behavior. And that dropped his ratings in my book quite a bit. So I'm just going to leave it at that. That's where it is today. Yeah. So there it is. And Glenn wants to do the Blues Experience again next weekend. Boy, that was great, wasn't it? It was. And yes. Sound wasn't great. It wasn't. I agree. And Ed, thank you so much. And I appreciate you, my friend, and all the hospitality you always give me and our platform here, and Peter as well. Thank you for coming on the show last Wednesday, Ed. We appreciate you talking that up and having a lot of people there, 1,200 plus people. That's insane. That's wonderful. And Diana said, blast. Yes. Everybody that was there loved it. And yes. And Kara said she read. He apologized to the coach after. No, I agree. If he apologized, then hats off to him for standing up, being a man. But sometimes these guys make a lot of money and they can be crybabies. I'm just going to say that. I am. Peter, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you, man. And Gina, thank you so much. Love you so much and your music, and can't wait to see you play again. Guys, thanks for watching today. We'll be back tomorrow on Tuesday, Hot Topic Tuesday, with Karis and myself, where I'll be spreading joy and she'll be spreading judgment. That's how it works. Join us then, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you, Dale. Good to see you over the weekend. Kenny Patterson, thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, I'll be at Lori's on Saturday or Sunday. What day is it? Sunday. I'll be at Lori's Sunday, being one of the co-MCs of the Ken Anderson Autism Rocks event at Lori's. And Kenny, I know you're, I don't know if you're working fretboards, but have a great show if you are, my friend. And Jim McCarthy, thank you so much. Hi, Bill. Thank you so much. Ed, thank you so much. I'll see you then. Until then, guys, get out and support live local music and the bands and venues that bring it to you. For All Around Town Radio, I'm Scott Hall, your host. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
And I want to see a show. I flip on the book of face. Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man over there into the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. All Around Town Radio Show is where I go for the latest band info. So All Around Town Radio Show for the music that comforts my soul. It's the All Around Town Radio Show, the All Around Town Radio.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities that they represent. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.